Hi everyone. Talking horses for Saratoga. So I wanted to go to one of my places of bliss, which is underneath the street, where I do my Energizer program. This is Mo from the way I played for years, 4 decades. Um, and what I've learned after 40 years, all horse racing information was useless. And the reason I felt that all horse racing information was useless was because of the fact that it never got me over 25%. And usually I was going after, formful horses instead of looking for value. One of the things I like about the fact that the guy over in Shakeup does is he looks for value. I think 85, 90% of the handicappers are always looking for certainty in an uncertain game. So we're looking for a certain amount of certainty, uh, like I always say, to an uncertain game. And I did that for many decades and not proud of it, but I thought that at the time I was enjoying myself and I got addicted to the racing form. I got addicted to telling myself a story. I got addicted to the joy of handicapping. I love that phrase, but not anymore. The joy of handicapping. Really, it's an addiction to handicapping, an addiction to thinking that horse racing information, the racing form, the Ragusan sheets, thoroughbred sheets, time form, uh, selections from Andy Serling, Mr. Know-It-All, just everybody's opinions. Well, when it comes down to it, is after you hear all that information or you go through all that information, all that it's a 12-horse card, and they play 6 to 8 races. That's 6 to 8 rounds you're going in. 6 to 8 rounds you're going in with Mike Tyson, is what I say, and that's insanity. So I learned 5 years ago that number one, I had to get skinny. I had to learn the art of restriction. I had to learn that playing 2,500 races a year is not the way to play this game. I had to get skinny because I was way too fat in my appetite to want to play, too fat in my appetite to think that I knew that which horse was going to win in those 2,500 races I play a year. But when all was said and done, what I realized was that it's basically just washing money, thinking that I'm having a good time here and there. But at the end of the year, all I did was, sit in front of a television set and yell and scream at horses. I never was in a jacuzzi. I never was in a swanky hotel. And I'm spending thousands of dollars. So, after a certain amount of, years, you got to wake up. You got the lights have got to go on, right? You know what I mean? I'm a lights dude, so the lights have to go on. Uh, and the lights went on, and basically, I made a paradigm change to do everything completely opposite of what I've done over those 35 years. So, first thing I noticed was that I didn't play the turf because I found the turf to be too difficult. I found the turf, big fields, difficult. Uncertainty was high, especially in certain races. So I didn't play them much. I played for more certainty, more form. And there were times when, I looked for hitting gold here and there. But I was, at one point or another, you're all over the place over those 35 years. You learn everything about the game, but then you know nothing. Um, but you can tell a story for hours and hours about how much you know. I mean, just listen to early Andy Serling. That man thinks he knows every single thing, and he's happy. He seems to be one of the most unhappy guys I've ever seen, because all he has is horse racing, and all I had was horse racing. So I was no different. But I realized that I wanted my life back, and I realized that I wanted to do something other than just staying in the bubble of thinking I knew and thinking that horse racing information could help me select horses. So I lost my joy for handicapping. I lost my interest in pursuing the goal of trying to pick winners at the game I love called horse racing. So instead, what did I do? Um, I uh, I said I'm going to change. I'm going to make a paradigm change in the game I love, and I'm going to eliminate the racing form. And it took 5 years to eliminate it because the ego. I know. The ego buster, which is what I'm presently doing. I don't know. I know what I don't know. I know this game is unpredictable. So my ego's been busted. So that's why my approach is called the ego buster approach. MoFoJo handicapping. There's no handicapping anymore. Nothing to handicap. The ego buster approach doesn't look at any horse race New York circuit. So for today at Saratoga, I'm only playing the 10th race. If I'm even gonna play that race, I haven't made a decision. But yesterday I didn't play any races because I was also gonna play the 10th race, but it was taken off the turf. And I don't play any dirt races because I believe that dirt races are more predictable than turf races. I think that they're because of the short fields. Number one, I think they're also more predictable because of the fact that for some reason you can manipulate that, them to be more formful. I don't want formful. The ego buster approach is looking for the longest shots on the board to come in. The four longest shots to come on the board is what I want. Will I get that many times? No, and that's why skipping and passing as, as many races as possible until you're wowed is the ego buster approach. I know nobody else is doing what I'm doing because it's almost impossible to do. And for me, it's only possible because of the fact that I put in the 35 years before that. And I've worked on the ego buster approach for the last 5 years. Nothing about it was easy. Nothing about it was uh, not with blood belt determination, patience, sitting out thousands of races for a year. I had to reduce my races by 90% in 5 years. It took me, and now I'm fine. I play one race, and sometimes I don't play any races. Last week at Saratoga, there was not one race that was playable, not one, for one reason or another, and that's okay. The Eagle Buster approach is not trying to find races to play. They're only gonna play a race if they're wowed, and they're only gonna play a race if they have, certain criteria. So what are those criteria, right? I wrote them down. It has to be at least 9 horse field, 10 horse field. You find a lot of New York races now only 6 horses. Last week they had a race with 2 horses. That's crazy, insane. Limited or no data because horse players want data. Players want as much data as possible because how else can they tell their story? I don't have any story anymore. My approach is I know that the story is insignificant. Then the race you feel is impossible, like the 10th race today, you feel it's impossible. That's the race I want to play. I want to play the race you feel it's impossible because that means that not even you can figure out this race. So that means that it's a ba boo race, which is my 9 to 10 to 11 to 12 horses in the field because I want bumping. In the Deagle Buster approach, you have to get lucky. The only way you can get lucky is bringing in chaos. Chaos is bumping. Chaos is where the turf goes from firm all week, all of a sudden it rains, and now it goes to good to yielding. That's positive for the Ego Buster approach because it's another factor that could change the outcome of a horse that might like a firm turf, which they're betting at 9 to 5, where a horse that's 27 to 1, who doesn't like a firm turf but likes a little give in the track, That horse shows up, and I get paid. Races you dismiss. When I know you're dismissing a race, I'm interested in the race. So what I'm doing and what the edge is here is I'm trying to go everywhere you're not going. Because you don't like Rich Strike in the Derby, I want to find a reason to play Rich Strike. My mantra is to find the hidden gold many, many layers beyond the obvious. And in our game, it's many, many, many layers beyond the obvious. And that's why you have to kind of be in the game for quite a long time. Now, one of the things that I've always done for 20, at least 20 years is when I felt a little crazy or when I won or when I felt like I just needed a break for a minute, I would just dance. And I actually recommend this to people because of the fact that um, um, you got to manage not only your you have to manage your being too. And most handicappers and players smoke and drink and stuff like that. But you also should fit into do whatever you want. That's fine. But you got to do some kind of activity. And I do this dance, and I've been doing it for 20 years. Call it an energizer program. Get up, get out, get energized. And it's very important to just do something, just to because you have to have a mind that's the mind of a winner. You have to have a feeling in your mind while you're making all these decisions and choices that you're a winner, and it also calms you down. So when I would lose a race, especially a bad beat, I would go ahead and dance for a minute. And what that would do for me is it kind of erase the negative experience as much as possible. And so whatever you like doing, like I know the guy at Shake Up like he was a boxer. I would have a bag right next to me. And there'd be times just to release that craziness in you, you gotta dance. And my program is called Get Up, Get Out, Get Energized. So I'm getting up, I'm getting out, I'm getting energized, and basically trying to change my being. So if I just had a really bad beat and I don't want to play the next race, I want to pass the next race. And the other thing is that I figured out was that, I would sit in handicap on a Saturday for almost 8 hours. On Breeders' Cup Day, almost all week long, I'd be handicapped. But during that, I'd also be doing this, just because of the fact that it's not just about handicapping horses. It's not just about the racing form. Because what I've done with this is, because I'm not going to handicap one race today. Instead, I'll dance for 6 hours. So I'll do this dance program for 6 hours and enjoy myself. Instead of, this looks crazy, right? This looks really crazy. You say, that dude is one crazy ass MoFoJo. Let me just move this up. And yeah, it looks like I'm crazy. But I'm actually having fun here with this, right? And you're sitting there, probably drinking, probably smoking, probably pissed off as a MoFoJo about the fact that you just got beat by a nose in one of your pick threes, pick fours, or pick fives. And how do you get that out of your being? Because you're still going to play 3 or 4 more races. And if you don't think that affects you, you're wrong. It's definitely going to affect your game. And that's why you got to do whatever you do, whatever activity you like to do. Even if let's say it's running, bicycling, go for a ride. Go out and just, do something easy, do something soft. When you come back, you're going to feel so much better versus just staying there, versus just being pissed off. The hell with that. You don't want to be pissed off. It's the game you love. You're spending your hard-earned money to play the game you love. You gotta be a ninja. And this is me being a ninja. And basically, it's not really for only my body, but it's for my mind. It's for my mind. I also use it to celebrate. Meaning when I win. Because I want to charge my mind up even more. Now, the Ego Buster approach only plays one race. And I do that for a reason. The reason you're doing that is because then there's no mistakes. And also, there's no string bets. No pick 3, no pick 4, no pick 5. One race. One race, one bet. And I'll go over that another time, all of that stuff. But for now, I'm just talking to you about how I would be doing things, getting ready for today. And basically, because I don't use the racing form to play the races, I have no handicapping to do. I have nothing else to do but to make a decision as whether I want to play the 10th race or not. I don't know who's running in the first 9 races anymore because I don't care and I didn't look at it. And the reason I didn't look at it is because I want to be detached from it. Because I believe that as soon as you look at the race, as soon as you start looking at one of the horses, now you have an opinion. Now your ego has been activated, and you remember something from before. So you'll find a reason to play the race. The only way you can't find a reason not to play a race is by not looking at it. If I don't look at the first 9 races, I don't even know what's there. I'm also not going to follow it. I'm not going to follow it live because I don't want to see something that's going to make me want to play. So the approach is the only way. And it took me 5 years of doing it. 5 years of doing it over and over and over again, making mistake after mistake. So everything I'm telling you, I've done. I've done, of course, over the 5 years. But I don't do it anymore because I have all the disciplines in place. I don't have a fat guy appetite. I don't have an appetite where I think that I have to play again and again and again. What did I do last week when I didn't play all those 5 races? I went to the beach. Yeah, I spent $500-600, half of what I would have spent if I would have played. And I had a wonderful time. I never allowed myself to do that with play for those 35 years. Being the horse racing bubble of life. Now, I don't want to. And now I got time. I have time. I have all day long. I can do hobbies like this, crazy ass shit like this. Yeah, it's crazy. Who cares? No one cares. If not one person watches this, it doesn't matter. I went through the experience myself and enjoyed the hell out of it. And it's a distraction from handicapping and doing that. You're going to handicap for 6 hours today. I'm not going to handicap for 6 hours. Just swirling my body around, up and down. Also, I'm going to do other things. But for 6 hours, I've already danced for 3. And you say, that guy is one crazy MoFoJo. Hello? You're going to sit there and handicap from a piece of paper, horse racing information. You're going to go through that for 6 to 8 hours, putting together all kinds of bets, making all kinds of decisions for 6 to 8 hours and spending all kinds of money in races. I'm not doing any of that. None of it. I'm only going to be playing, if I'm interested in playing the 10th race today, I know what it would cost me. It cost me $500. It's a dime super, all. I'm hoping to get a super to come back, what, 4,300? That would make me happy. Of course, I want to make at least my money back. Doubling it, tripling it, and quadrupling it would just mean I got lucky. No ego. I got lucky. I picked the right race to play where a horse that's double digits, but another horse that's double digits, and another horse that's long, and a favorite that's not even first, second, third, or fourth. Dancing is calming, so you lose yourself. And it's good because when you're doing what we do, relaxing your mind and your body is key. That's my point of dancing during this, is that you have to keep your body, mind, kung fu when you're playing the game. I would never, come on the YouTube or whatever, tired or not ready to kick some monkey. I'm investing $500 in the race. $500 in the race, and that's it. And then I'm not even going to watch the race live. I'll watch it tomorrow because it doesn't. I don't have the urgency, right? You don't have the urgency. What's going to happen is going to happen. I don't even know if I'm going to make a bet on. I already seen Friday, and the 10th race on Friday is good too. So I don't have to know the result even. And sometimes I don't even see the result till I, because I don't want to be affected by maybe Friday's investment also. So what I might do is just wait. But you can only do that when you've been doing what I've been doing for 35 years and then making the paradigm change 5 years later. So now, yeah, I dance for 6 hours. But remember, I used to sit there and handicap for 6 hours. Way more than 6 hours. Because not only do you have to handicap, but then you have to construct your bet. For me, I don't have to do either one of those things. For me, there's only one bet, one choice. If you're betting 6 to 8 races, constructing the bet and making all those decisions and all those choices. So I'm making one choice and one bet, and you're making hundreds. And when I did that, that's why I did this dancing. Because you when you're playing, you go insane. You can go insane. On a Saturday, on a Breeders' Cup day, on Derby day, ba boo boo. It's so pleasurable. But it's also, in many cases, horrible. And whenever I experienced either one of those, I would dance. Again, just to get my mojo right. Just to get feeling like when I would win a race that, because you know how horse players are. The next race is just 20 minutes away. The next race is just 20 minutes away. Nah, man, don't find a reason to play so many races. Find reasons not to play. That's what the ego busting is all about. Finding reasons not to play. Being able to do other things, other passions, other love. Enjoy life. Actually, doing it different like this, doing the ego buster approach, actually saves your life to a certain effect. And what I mean by that is that it gives you your life back. Because a horse player has been playing for as long as I've been playing, 40 years. You have a regular job, and then you're playing the races, playing the horses, and that's 60 more hours. And now those 60 hours, I could do so many other things. Because I'm not going to handicap a race. I don't need to. I'm not going to watch things live, right? I'm not going to watch all these things live and stuff like that. There's no reason to. So it gives you a life. You can go out and make money. It's for reasons that none of us understand. Twin Spires closing down yesterday. where they weren't even available probably the whole day or most of the day. That's horrible for a horse player to go through something like that. Um, they've been I've been with them for over 30 years. And if I wanted to bet yesterday, I couldn't. Yeah, I probably could have do phone betting, but that kind of stuff changed. That changed. You're used to doing online betting, uh, and then they make you do something else. That's going to mess up your whole thing, especially if you're playing the ego approach of playing a lot of different races that, you have to have a skinny guy appetite. You're retired. You're not making all the money you used to make. But I wish I would have done this earlier. But you find things when you find them. But to have a fat guy appetite in the game we all love called horse racing, it's not a good